doing quite well out there, and then that second goal pretty much killed you, didn't it?
40 minutes doing very well, I thought, against the top side. And, you have to keep it tight at places like this, and you have to work for the counter, which we did. Finding them killer moments, obviously that's the story of the season so far, before and with me. And that defined that period. And then, obviously, a soft goal from our point of view, only yardages, the back four just got a bit open for the first time. And good from them, because that's what they do. They slide and they look to play quick passes into the box, so fair play to them. And then really the second one, as a manager, it's hard to legislate for. And then once you're 2-0 down at a place like this, it's very difficult, we know that. And then we had to take the second half on. And at the end of the day, you saw why they're top of the league in the second half. So it's not always about us. There was lots of things we could have done better, but at the end of the day, they're a top side and they showed it in the second half.
Bearing in mind what had happened in the final minutes of the first half, what was your message to them, players at the second half time?
Well, to take on our performance, because once their nose is in front, it doesn't mean you can't get back into them games, but it's tough. But what are we going to do about it? And we tried, but they started so well in the second half. And it's difficult to play like this when they're so confident. They work, they tried, but they kept passing and playing, which they do. But the work on transition has improved no end. You've got to remember this aside. I mean, I know they've signed players as well, but some 18 months ago, the manager's getting questioned and the team are getting questioned, and they've been on a journey since then. And I think we've all seen that. We've got to restart our own. This is a group that are learning from us, a different kind of voice, different feel. But some of the problems have been there, and we've got to try and change that. And a lot of it is the mentality, particularly away mentality. Stats from last season, this season, they're there for a reason. There's only one group of people who can change it, and that's us.
Was the switch Paul get on for the game, was that tactical, or was that noise, was that her injury?
Yeah, well, we've got 3 games of the week. We're looking at the players as well. We're managing that. We do know the stats and the facts. It's harder to win here than other grounds. But no, we did come here to win, make no mistake. We beat them a couple of weeks ago. So, there's no reason to not come here, at least be brave. And I thought we were brave enough in the first 40 minutes because, like I say, you're going to have to absorb some of the game, which we did. And we worked well on counter, so I've got no question marks over that. But to come in 2-0 down, you're super frustrated as a manager when you come in 2-0 down after that first 40 minutes.
Do you think you learned anything new about the side today?
Some things. They're for me to know.
How can you change that mentality and get them
We
so
do.
that they can win away?
Well, you've got to bring a home mentality away. You've got to change the psyche of each individual because it spreads like wildfire. When you get players playing with that edge away from home, others join in. But someone has to start the process. No one gives it to you. Teams don't give you results. The feel at home is amazing with the fans. They've been exceptional since I got there. They were great again, to come all this way. Great again tonight with the numbers. And for 40 minutes, they probably thought, all right, we're on it again. And there was a lot to like about the performance against Villa as well. At home, we too many soft goals. I will say that since I've been here, there's too many soft moments, individual errors and stuff like that. But we created enough to score goals. And even first 40 minutes, I thought we did today. But all you can do is keep reinforcing it. All you can do is keep working with the players and give them that edge or help to give them that edge when they're away. But it's been there for a while, so it's not a new thing. Last season, this season, so it's a work in progress. I wasn't naive when I got it. I wasn't thinking it's just all an easy fix and you just roll into winning every game. And I wasn't thinking that when we beat these at home. I'm going to assure you, if you saw my interviews, all right, it's a step. There's lots of steps to be taken now.
Say one from over there.
Sorry to labour the point on the second goal. Can you just explain what kind of went on with?
Nope, I have no explanation. Just other than sometimes players get caught in 3 minds, not 2 minds, and it's just like one of them odd moments. They don't occur very often, but when they do, they always look like that. And we nearly got away with it, I think, with the VAR. I haven't seen it back, but I presume it was onside.
Sure. Why do you think there's such a big difference between the performance levels in the first 40 and, let's say, the second half in particular? Obviously, you mentioned the second goal there, that's an individual error, but it felt like chalk and cheese, that first half to second half.
No, but you've got to give credit to the opposition. These are the top side, everyone knows that. They're top of the league for a reason. They're not there by default, they're there by design. They're playing very well, they see the picture quickly, they're super confident, which, I've seen players who are super confident, players who people didn't even think were good players or not that good a player, at the last club I was at, and yet when you're super confident, look, I've finished 7th with a side that everyone thought would probably get relegated, So when players are playing at the top end of their performance levels, it spreads quickly. But when you're down there, it's how you can change that. So that's the key now, is how we can change that. there's still some good performance tonight individually, but now we've got to make sure that rubs off on everyone, where people are just off the mark. And the details are so important in Premier League football. People don't always see them. You wouldn't expect them to. Fans don't always see them. But the details are so, so important in Premier League football.
You've been here at Everton for a month now. I just wondered how pleased you are about the progress from the team in that time.
Well, we've got 6 points that they hadn't had previously, so that was a start. We've looked, I would say, I've been pleased with more organised, if you like, than what I'd seen previously in my style. That is, I'm not questioning the manager. They all have their own way of doing things. But in my style, we've looked at the organisation I look for. We've countered at times. We've offered more threat, certainly against Villa. We offered more threat against Leeds. We offered more threat. So that's been pleasing. But the mistakes are still there, and I think they've had a bit of that over this season, so we've got to eradicate them. And just the details, the constant search for the details to be right. And that's what, one thing I noticed with Arsenal tonight, and I've seen Man City do it as well, they keep a clean sheet at the end there. They're throwing bodies to keep a clean sheet. When Damari Gray gets his finishing, we're trying to score, and they're still throwing bodies. Alex Woodward drove down the right, there's 4 bodies around him. That's when you're super confident. That's when players are playing with freedom, not just attacking. Everyone sees the attacking side as managers. You see the defending side. You see the work in transition. You see the hard work that teams are putting in. And Man City have done that years after. We can all talk about their passing, amazing at times. But trust me, the ball turns over at Man City, they are after you. They shut you down very, very quick. Their habits are good. And I think Arsenal showed that second half particularly, that the habits were good.
With that in mind, are you happy with that element in Everton's performance in the second half?
No, I'm not saying anything about ours. I'm putting it on them. The fact is we've got a lot to learn, and it's a continuing learning curve, football anyway. But certainly when you're having a challenging season, you've got to learn, and you've got to learn quickly.
Is there any chance of Calvert-Lewin being back at the week?
We'll see, but I think it'll be a close call because we've got to get him properly fit. I don't think he has been for a while now, so we've got to make sure he's properly fit because we can't put him in for one game and then lose more.
There is a lack of threat up front.
Well, I thought Neil's worked so hard again tonight. He's got another few chances or maybes. He did on Saturday. He had one cleared off the line. He had one cleared off the line against Leeds, I think it was as well. He's a player that we know has got a record where he can score goals. But it's not just about one player, by the way. I keep hearing everyone talk about one player. You can't ask a team to defend and then say, well, but you're only allowed to one player to score. If you defend as a team, you've got to score as a team. And I mentioned that in the week. So my emphasis on everyone standing up and being counted, everyone trying to score. That's what I think.
All right, folks.
Cheers, everyone.